Hello, Giulietta here. I'm going to do a 30-minute sequence. We'll start with our usual warm-up to Caribbean Blue by Enya, and we'll only need a resistance band for this particular video. Okay, so we'll start warming up first before the music. So taking some deep breaths in and out. Deep breath in. Breathing in. I like to do 5 of these. Breathing in and out. And then let's tap. Tapping the other side. And massaging lower back, relaxing the muscles there. Okay. Tapping down a bit and up, a bit and up. Okay, I'll now put the music on for our Caribbean Blue warm-up. Imagining a bubble between the hands. Sunrise. And back relaxer. And roll it. Sunrise. Back relaxer. And go around the room. And sunrise. And back relaxer. And roll it. Diagonal. And shoulders to the ears and down. Head and neck. and fingers. Finding that end pose. Very nice. All right. So I'd actually like to do one more warm-up song with you. Build Me Up, Buttercup, which if you have been in my classes recently, we've been doing those. So just to go over the movements, we've got 4 taps. So tap, 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 and roll it. This is actually the verse. And then tap, 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 and roll it, which goes the other way. Then we have our shoulder, shoulder, hip, hip, shoulder, shoulder, hip, hip. 6 swims forward, and then 6 backstrokes backwards. Nice. Those are good for shoulder flexibility. And then the chorus, Build Me Up Buttercup, is to make a buttercup. Pretend those hands are a buttercup flower. Build me up, buttercup, and then we come down again, bending the knees for more of a workout, and coming up again, build me up, and down. And then we have an out, out, in, out, out, in, and one more. Build me up, buttercup, don't break my heart. So I'll put the music on and just enjoy. Okay, 4 taps. Tap, 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 and roll it. And tap, 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 and roll it. Shoulder, shoulder, hip, hip, shoulder, shoulder. 6 swims. And backstroke. Let's do the taps again. Okay. So, fantastic. Now we're a little bit warmed up. 10 minutes of aerobic activity there. And so let's move towards the balance section. So I have a smaller space than normally. Normally we're in the nice spacious hall. So I'm going to do the tap tap step, but in a sort of a smaller version. So this is nice too, because you could have your finger on a wall or a doorway or a chair if you needed the balance support. So I'm just going to go tap tap step and make it more of a lunge, and then come back. Tap tap step. Come back. And again, do just feel free to place a hand on the wall or the chair there. So you can see that this is quite good leg strengthener, especially as we sort of jettison backwards. Keeping the head looking forward. Notice, I hope my back is straight and the head is in line, you know, with the spine. So yeah, nice. So we won't do too many of these. If you do have a larger space, feel free to move the tap tap step. I'm going to do one more on each leg. Great. And then we'll move to the tightrope walk. And again, you might have more space, so you might take these further across the room. I'm only going to do a few steps forward and backwards. The same alignment principles stand. So head kind of balanced over the spine, back straight looking forward. And we could even bring our newish exercise in. And again, do put your hand on a wall or a chair if this is too wobbly for now. It will improve. Okay, so I'm going up, taking a few steps forward, back leg is coming up, and maybe this is the tricky part, the back leg replaces behind. And try to do this without looking at the feet. Okay, so I'm just going to go back and forth this way for a little while. And if you've been doing it with the same leg going up each time, change to the other leg. So now it's my left leg going behind. And my right leg is staying in front. Okay, just finishing up your sequence there. And we'll come to do the toe raises, or the heel raises, called by either name. So I'm coming up on the toes and down. We'll just do about 10 of these. This is such a good ankle strengthener. I'm not going to hold it and count today. We've got a shorter session, 30 minutes. So I'm going to now move to the strength section. So all we'll need is a band today. And let's begin. We've actually just done quite a bit of leg strengthening there. So let's move to the arm. So I'm standing on the band, and the band's coming the outside edge of my foot. I'm grabbing the band like I'm shaking the band's hand, or you can imagine a giant ice cream cone. So the band is coming out of the thumb part of the band. So I'm going to, this band is a little light for me, so I'm going to show you. So I've got the thumb to the shoulder, but this is actually too easy for me. So if it is too easy for you, move the hand further down the band, and then you should feel a little bit of resistance so your muscle can do some work. So it might be that you need a stronger band, but the first thing to try is just grabbing the band a bit lower. Okay, we'll do about 8 or 10 of these, and then changing sides. So we change sides, step on the band, It comes on the outside edge of the foot. I'm going to grab that ice cream cone. Band is coming out the thumb side over here. And because this band is light for me, I'm going to grab it a little bit lower by the thigh. Now, if your band is working well for you, good strength, then you might take it at the hip level or the waist level. Okay, and then it's the thumb towards shoulder. And don't worry if it doesn't touch the shoulder. We're just looking for that action of the bicep. Fantastic. Okay, and then we'll move to bring the band to step in the middle of the band here, and then taking the band in each hand. So my elbows are straight, my arms are straight, my core is engaged, so engage the abdomen, and then I'm literally coming up with straight arms to the sides at first. Notice the palms are facing, kind of facing the body. And then coming up to do some zombie arms, bringing those arms straight in front of me. Okay, and then going in between those, so making a V shape with the arms. Some call this a pizza slice. Nice. And the other direction we can go is back, where I'm really, now I'm bending the elbows for the first time, bending them towards the back. So mixing it up, taking a few minutes to, mix up the different angles. And maybe even cross the band in front of you. And some people like to change feet. I don't always, but why not? To be symmetrical, I will change the foot. Okay, great. And then we'll move on to a little bit more shoulder opening, but I wanted to show a sort of a new exercise that we haven't been doing in class, but this is bringing the bands at about, shoulder level, actually even wider than shoulder level. I think we did this in the class once. Just pulling it apart, that's it. But you'll start to feel it if you haven't done this much before. I feel it. Okay, great. Yes. Nice. Okay, and then we can bring that band to the upper back. So this is one that we're quite used to, I think, in the class where we have the arms straight, opening and closing. And now is a chance to bring in the breath. I like to breathe in as I open and out as I close. But if the other way works for you, if you'd rather breathe out as you open, that's fine. Just trying to find the match of the breath and the movement. Lovely. Okay, maybe 3 more or rest. Great. So we'll come to some shoulder opening. So taking that band again, at shoulder width or, maybe even wider to give your shoulders more space. Just coming up to where you feel resistance. I do go up all the way, but if you need to stop before then, absolutely fine. This is just trying to increase our shoulder mobility. Great, so I like to do 3 of these, bouncing upwards and coming down, and then we have kind of the opposite direction, bringing the arms behind the back and bringing the bands as if somebody is pulling our arms backwards. Okay, nice. Okay, so we will move now to some stretching out after our wall press-ups. So let's start with the wall press-ups today. So it's the feet are going to be wide apart. The hands are at about chest level. And I'm just bending the elbows. So maybe you can see, hopefully, the rest of my body is a bit like a plank. And that, what we need to do to make sure that we're like a plank is to engage the abdomen. What you're trying to avoid is this. Do you see how my, back is arching like this? That's what we're trying to avoid. So really drawing this part of your body in so you can be relatively straight along the body. Okay, so the guidance is 10 or 15 of these. And if you can do them one more time this week, that would be helpful for the arms and the core. Okay, so after you've done about 10 or 15, then we'll come to our usual shoulder opener, which is where we crawl the hand upwards and step sideways into the wall, looking for that nice long stretch if you can. And if you're, if you're not exactly vertical like this, that's totally fine. Some people will be here, some people will be here, and that will still, just increase the shoulder mobility over time. That's what we're looking for. Okay, and then changing sides. So I will turn my back to you now and climbing up the fingers and moving towards the wall. Okay, we also have some nice leg stretches that we can do against the wall. So the front knee is bent, the back knee is straight, and the hands are on the wall. And I always do like to move that back heel up and down to bring the stretch down the entire back leg. And then changing sides. Enjoying that stretch. And then bringing the legs far apart and shooting the tailbone across the room, crown of head towards the hands. And this is stretching the spine, walking towards the wall to come up. Okay. So we're we're having a different sequence today than we do in class. So we skipped the Tai Chi in the interest of time. So let's come back for more stretching. So shoulders to ears. Let's bring that shoulder across as well. Hand on the opposite shoulder. And maybe smoothing down shoulder to elbow to relax the muscles further. Okay, other side. And then a lovely upper back stretch is to hug that tree. So I'm pulling the upper back apart in a way, and looking down with the head, which stretches the neck. And then the opposite way is just to bring the arms back, and this is the open chest stretch. We'll also make one arm heavy and the other arm heavy. And then keep one arm down to stretch the side of the body. If you have the shoulder flexibility, then bringing the arm up and changing sides. Making that arm heavy and perhaps raising the other arm. Let's do a little bit of head as well. So looking down. So only looking up if that does not introduce any pain or even tension into the neck. So this might be looking down and straight ahead, and that's fine. If you are all right with looking up, that's an option here. And then let's look right and left. Letting the ear hang towards one shoulder, and letting the ear hang towards the other shoulder. Nice, and then we can do some semicircles or even full circles if that is available to you in terms of your neck. We'll also move the wrists in circles, loosening, any tension we introduced, for example, at the wall. Those wall press-ups can be hard on the wrists. And then doing some fingers as well. Fantastic. Maybe giving yourself a little shake, taking a few more of these back relaxers. And then finally, we'll take a few breaths in, breathing in, breathing in, and one more to namaste. Thank you for joining me in this quick, under 30-minute session. Okay, have a beautiful day. Bye.